Hey, everybody, it's Al Ernst, and we are back in our studio sanctuary. Those of you that have watched our Uniquely Lutheran show know that we have moved studios, but today, for reasons that I'll explain in just a moment, we are debuting our new little series called Here I Stand Up. For those of you who don't know, I have been a full-time stand-up comedian for the last 30 plus years. And I've worked with a lot of churches. I've done shows just about everywhere you can think of. And one of the things that I think God gives us is the ability to laugh and laugh at ourselves. And my hope is that each week I'll give you a little brief story of something that has personally happened to me or some type of humorous thing. Nothing much that I'm going to read up on. It's going to be just real life stories from a real life person. You would think I would start our first week in a church story. However, I'm going to save some of those for later because I think we all have all kinds of challenges. You may see that I'm standing in kind of a weird stance right now, and one of the reasons is that they have or I have diagnosed a knee problem, of which I went to an orthopedic person yesterday, and it's going to turn into something more than just treating a knee problem. So in the meantime, I'm kind of limping around, but I wanted to go back to a story about this particular knee. My left knee, believe it or not, has had a full patella replacement. And what that means is it's not an artificial knee. It is one of the tendons. It's the main tendon of the knee that keeps the knee joint together. They put a full patella replacement in this left knee about 14 years ago. I've had good luck with it. It's pretty much brought me back to normal. Everything was going fine up until recently, and we don't think it is related to anything to that, but something is inside the knee that will need to be taken out. So hopefully, with all that being said, you're going, well, where's the humor in that? That doesn't sound very humorous. However, it really does, because just a little fact for you, the Achilles tendon in the human body is the longest tendon in the body, believe it or not. It's way longer than we think. And when they do what they call a cadaver transfer for any of these tendons, because the Achilles is also known as the strongest tendon, they replace any other tendons with an Achilles tendon. As I said, a cadaver tendon, it is not coming from a pig or an animal. It's like some of the heart valve surgeries are, but this is actually a cadaver tendon, from somebody who has passed. Now, it's a little bit humorous, it's a little bit macabre, but why do I keep saying that? Well, when we got our statement in after it was all said and done, and you don't really like to look at those statements because of how much money, and you're thanking God that you've had enough to have insurance over the years. But the listing for my patella replacement said patella tendon cadaver, and then it had the words in parentheses, fresh. And I thought to myself as I was reading that, hey, I am glad I have some kind of decent insurance, because had they not been good insurance, would they have used the day-old tendon? Would they have, had somebody in the lab over there going, hey, Larry, this guy isn't very good with his insurance, so why don't you go pick up that old tendon that we have way in the jar, way in the back? Something about all these medical things that constantly make me laugh and have these ways that you get through your crisis or your health problem with some of that kind of laughter. I've had several other procedures that always goes down in a laugh. In that the last procedure that they had to put me under for was a heart procedure. And believe it or not, the last words that I heard from the doctor was, put the bite guard in and insert the probe. Now, that sounds to me more like a spaceship rather than a heart procedure. And I don't want to know how the probe is, it was actually inspecting my airway and making sure that everything was clear for the heart procedure. But the last words I heard were, put the bite guard in and insert the probe. So with those two things in mind, you always got to laugh. You always got to find that place for it. We're going to be doing these weekly along with all of our other shows. We invite you to watch our worship service on Sundays, to watch Vine Time and Sprouts that Pastor Jeff does with the great devotionals and Bible study. And Here I Stand Up, what's the background on that? Well, we are a Lutheran church, and Martin Luther, who basically founded our church when he had grievance with the church and made some changes, he said to the folks when he gave out all of his issues, he said, "Here I stand, God help me." Well, I'm a stand-up comedian, so here I stand up, and hopefully God helps me relate some humor to you. We will be getting a better set. We always do this a little bit at a time. As I said yesterday, in our Uniquely Lutheran, it is a whole bunch of small things that make the big things. So I hope you enjoyed this one. We will see you next week. And in the meantime, enjoy and let us know how you're feeling about it. And make sure that you like us on YouTube and on Facebook so that we can continue to spread this whole idea of that God God's love and faith is everywhere and all the time, not just in our church. Take care, everybody.